Bombay High Court. So, what case regarding it is, sir?
Today, judgment was passed in the case of Mira Sahib Bepari. That was a case where there was a mob of about 30-40 people who had gone into the house of Beparis in Kamarkazan in Mapsa, alleging that there was something about beef. The complaint did not say anything that there was a sale or that there was slaughter of beef. And under the Animal Preservation Act, the Goa Animal Preservation Act, these are the two sections: either sale, which is illegal without authorized license, or slaughter without license at a place not authorized. So there was no sale, there was no slaughter also. But these characters went inside the fridge of these people and took out some meat, which of course that meat was found to be buffalo at the end of the day. But question is, this invades privacy of an individual, and this is an abuse of the process of law. And the entire FIR was so malicious that other sections also were put, that the atmosphere had become obnoxious and all this nonsense. So we filed a petition in the High Court challenging the registration of the FIR, and the judgment was passed today by His Lordship Justice Chavan, quashing the FIR, saying that even in the complaint itself never disclosed any cause for registering an FIR, and therefore that FIR was quashed. I want to send this as a message not only to the police but also to the vigilantes, who have to be very careful. While there is a right in people to make sure that law is followed, there is also a duty for people to ensure that they don't take law in their hands and try to make things and blow it out of proportion, something which should not be there. So this act, I'd even said that this is an act of vigilantism, because these people in their complaint wrote that they are from the Bajrang Dal, and then they had gone over there, and the complainant himself was a punch witness. Also, I had also argued that the person who can carry out such an inspection is an authorized officer who is only a veterinary doctor, and it could not have been the police who could have come and done this. Even that seizure could not have been done by the police. But the court did not go into that, because the court felt that even for registration of the FIR there was no case, but has recorded my submissions and finally quashed that FIR.
In case which I have telling you, sir.
Another matter which was argued today in the Bombay High Court, and the final order was passed, is a matter where one Gurunath Naik had filed some complaint against Namrata Ulman, who is the secretary of the Goa Legislative Assembly, claiming that her husband, who was retired from job, comes there in the office and that he is sleeping in the sofa or something like that. It's a very funny thing. Actually, I would have laughed at that complaint. But that complaint was put before Goa Human Rights Commission, and the Goa Human Rights Commission issued a notice to conduct an inquiry, which I thought was absolutely an abuse of the law, abuse of power, abuse of jurisdiction, and therefore this kind of a case itself was not maintainable. So finally the High Court heard the matter today, and itself was shocked to hear that complaint and action taken by the Goa Human Rights Commission. And finally the complainant himself made a statement that he is withdrawing the complaint. Consequently, that order issuing notice by the Human Rights Commission has been quashed and set aside by the High Court. These are not human rights matters. You understand me? Somebody, even if there is, let us say, a corruption, even if there is somebody who is doing something contrary to service rules, they have nothing to do with human rights issues. Human rights are within defined what is a human rights, and Human Rights Commission gets jurisdiction only in those matters. They are not like an ombudsman, like a High Court or like a Supreme Court, who is like omnipresent, omniscient, to see everything what is going on that will fall in order or will not fall in order. So certain statutory authorities have statutory jurisdictions, limited jurisdictions. Like you can't go before a mamladar and tell him take action because somebody is sleeping on the sofa. You understand? This is something very funny. So even a mamladar may have certain magisterial powers, but his magisterial powers are restricted under statutes. Similarly, Goa Human Rights Commission has got a statute under which it can act, and it cannot act beyond the statute.